Hello and welcome to my new video. Today we are in a little bit different location because finally in Norway we have a absolutely amazing summer day. Finally we have we have sun, because in the past few months we had only rain. So finally it's a sunny day, so it would be shame to sit inside and film. So I just thought that maybe it will be okay that I don't have a bookshelves in my background. Today's video will be about the books that I want to give away on haul, because I already have a few. We have these here and we have these here, and also we have a bag full of books that I want to get rid of. So maybe just start with the first one, and we have Mere Blå by Johannesburg, and it is a Norwegian edition. It is a thriller, a Norwegian thriller about a guy who, I think his wife is killed, and as far as I remember, and he is the one who gets the blame for her, and or I think he maybe had some troubles with some gangs, and now they try to find him, so he runs away. And I read this book quite not that long ago, I think maybe last year, but I would like to reread it because I forgot a lot of it. But I have 2 copies of this book, so I don't need 2, so one of them goes. Also, there will be few books that I've got recently. I've bought a huge package of second-hand books, and it was a little bit of a gamble because I wasn't sure which books I will get, but luckily it was actually great. Only few books are those that I already have, so now I will just show you the copies that I want to give away, because I have 2 of them. So one of them is Død of Sham by Mark Billingham, and the original title is Die of Shame. Like I said, I have 2 copies of this book. I think it's a thriller. I haven't read it yet, so happy to pick that one up soon. Another one that I also have 2 copies, not 2 copies, I have a Lithuanian edition, and I have all trilogy, so I don't need this. It's by Stieg Larsson, Jenta som lekte med ilden, the girl who played with fire by Stieg Larsson. So like I said, I have Lithuanian edition. I already read those books. I love them, and I want to keep that collection instead of this one, so this one will be going. Another one that I also have a Lithuanian edition, and I already read that book, is The Niende Graven by Arnhem, The Ninth Grave. It's also a thriller, and I think I gave that book 3 stars maybe, or 2.5. But I would like to reread that book, maybe because I think that maybe it wasn't a time for me when I read that the first time. So yeah, I will keep that Lithuanian edition, and this one will be going. Also, I have a book by a very controversial author, very dumb author. However, I have 2 copies of this, so one of them will definitely be going. It's by Robert Galbraith or J.K. Rowling, Silke Ormen, or original title is The Silkworm. So I have 2 copies of this one. I don't need 2. Actually, I don't need any of them, but at least now one of them will be going. Another one as well are one of those books that I have 2 copies. I have one hardback cover, and this one is pocketbook, and I would like to keep that hardback because it's a little bit nicer. So also a thriller. I have no idea what this this book is about, but it's quite a popular author in Norway, so I would like to read this book. So like I said, one of them will be going. Another one is, I'm a little bit on the fence with this one, because I won this also long ago on Goodreads giveaways, and it is signed by the author. And this book is about a boy, Rafe Ryder, who with his schoolmates one day is transferred mysteriously to a land of Mistfiria, a realm of angels. It's almost like an angel school, but as far as I remember when I read this book, it was almost a copy-paste from Harry Potter. Only with the angels. I remember I wasn't a fan of those main characters, those children, because they are, I think, around 9 or 10 years old, but they already speaks like they are adults, and I think one of them talked a lot about a Jane Eyre, but I'm doubting that a 9-year-old or 8-year-old would read such book and understands what it actually means, that book. So I wasn't a fan of this book, and yeah, it is pretty, it is signed, and I don't know, but I need place on my bookshelf, so maybe I will try to sell it. If not, so yeah, it will also be going to a second-hand shop. This one is The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. It's a Norwegian edition. I read it recently, and I had a very high hopes for this one, but however, it was boring, to be honest. Nothing happened almost in the entirety of this book. The ending was very anticlimactic, for me at least. I didn't like the main character. She acted questionably, to say the least, and I couldn't trust her because I think she had problems with drinking, but that's not the main reason why I didn't like her. Just, yeah, she was just very unlikable character. And usually I read it isn't a very long book, actually it's quite short book, and usually I read such books in 1-2 days, 3 days maybe, but it took me almost a month to finish this book, so it's not a good sign, and I just don't want to have it on my bookshelf. So like I said, I already need more place, so I have to let it go. Also, we have a Silver Star by Jeanette Walls. It's very bright cover, this one. It's also a very short book. I have a Norwegian edition, however I listened that book on audio, and thank God that I listened it on audio, because if I tried to read it, I'm quite sure that I would have DNF'd it. I wasn't a fan of the story. It reminded me a little bit of a To Kill a Mockingbird, but a bad version of it. Not the brightest of books. So yeah, I just don't want to have it anymore. Another one is also a classic. It's North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I have 2 copies of this book. I remember when I read it first time, I wasn't a huge fan. I landed also in the middle of of the scale. I gave that book 3 stars, but I would like to reread it one day. Like I said, I have 2 copies, so I don't need this one, so it will be going. And here we have one of the worst books that I have read so far in this year. Maybe one of the worst books that I have read ever, because it just infuriated me from the first page. In this book we have, it's called Call Me by Your Name by Andreasson. However, in this book we have a 17-year-old child, teenager, Elio, and we have a adult guest teacher, Oliver, and we have that forbidden love story, but it was just disgusting. It's adult and child. It never should be allowed. And I think if the main character was a girl, so everyone will be shouting from the top of their lungs that it's just disgusting how author could have written this book and so on and blah 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 blah. But it's double standards, because it is a boy, somehow it's now romanticized, and it's now great. It's like it's now a fantastic love story. I just don't understand it, because it is a child, not because it is he is a boy, but it's a child and an adult, and it never should be allowed, like I said. So yeah, it was just infuriating, and the writing style wasn't the greatest for me. Some of the scenes, not the sex scenes, but if you read this book, the peach scene, I think you know what I'm talking about. It was just I'm not the one who gets easily grossed out, but this scene was just disgusting. So yeah, I don't want to have this book in my hands. Actually, I would like to burn it, but I won't do it. Just give it away. Sorry for the background sounds. We are outside. I can't do anything about that. Just enjoy the summer weather with me. Also, one of the books that I DNF'd, I think last week, is also a thriller, Norwegian thriller by Torkel Damhaug, Ildmannen. I tried to read this book. I tried to listen it on a audio, but there are so many characters. None of them are likable. None of them are interesting enough to follow their story. And after around a half of the book, I just started to mixed the characters, and I didn't understand which one was which of them, who done who, what, who done what, and so on. So it was just confusing, to say the least, and I just decided that I can't waste my time when I can read another book which will give me joy instead of confusion. So this one will be going. Also, I tried to read this one, Russian Winter by Daphne Kalotai, and I also DNF'd this book. It's a historical romance about a, I think, ballerina, Nina Revskaya. She wants to sell her jewelry, but there's some kind of mystery around those jewelries. I think something happened with her husband, something happened in her past, and now she tries to hide it. And I thought that it will be interesting, some historical romance history story, but yeah, I just was bored. Also, we have a graphic novel. It's a memoir by Marjane Satrapi. Marjane Satrapi. The Complete Persepolis is her memoir, her story about the revolution in Iran and how she got away from that place. And I liked the story. I didn't like the pictures, what I'm trying to say. I didn't like the style of the drawings. It's just not my style, so I don't want to have it anymore. Also, we have another classic. It's by Patrick Suskind, Perfume, the story of a murderer. And we have a story about a man who made perfumes of his victims, and sounds great, sounds interesting, sounds spooky, but actually it was boring as hell. I liked the movie more than a book, and I think I gave this book 2 stars or 1 star. So it's very pretty actually cover, so hopefully someone will be happy to have this one. Also, we have a book that I already read and I have 2 copies. It's The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie. It is, I think it's, is it about Miss Marple? I think it is by about Miss Marple and her village and how she solved the murder case. I think I like this book. I don't remember exactly, but like I said, I have few copies. I don't like books that are short compared to this one. So yeah, goodbye. Another one is Sinte unge menn by Arne Klive, about young angry men. I think it's maybe, it looks like it is a research or something like that, but I'm not in the mood for this book. There's a chapter about the school shootings, I think. I just don't want to read this book, and I don't like the format of it, and I just don't need it. Also, we have another book that I DNF'd because I was too infuriated to continue reading it. It's by Maria Semple. This one is mine. In this book we have a woman who has a picture perfect life, and everyone thinks that she is the happiest one because she has a husband, she has kids, and she has a house, and it looks like she just lives in her dream. However, she is not that happy. I think she finds a lover or something like that, and sounded like an quite interesting summary read. However, it's not that great because we have, I want to find that place. Yeah, I found it. I just read you and maybe you will understand why I DNF'd it. What? He said, are you Jewish? No, but I could be. Come on, I was just saying that. You seemed cool. I am cool. Anyway, he's a N-word. I just call him a Jew because he's so cheap. My God, she said, did you miss the memo? These aren't the words people use anymore. What? If you're a Jew, so you are cheap? In word and in the book that is written in our days about a black guy, use a word N, and the confrontation. Oh, you shouldn't use those words. No, you shouldn't think those words. Not just say it. Just, I was just shocked, and after that I just put that book aside. It was nope. Also, we have a historical romance. I think you can guess from the cover. It's 2 books in one, Ridderens fange and Ild Fuglen. It's a Norwegian edition. The original titles of these books are Lionheart, at least one of them, by Connie Mason. I tried to read this book, however I didn't like the main guy in this book. He was just, I know it is a historical romance, I know it is usually so that those guys are toxic to say the least, but this one was just above and beyond, almost raping scenes and so on, and he was just he tried to force a girl to sleep with him, as he said, I will let those people go if you sleep with me. So nope, I don't like it. I read better historical romances with better characters. Also, we have a book by Malcolm Gladwell. It's Merksnes, or the original title is The Power of Thinking Without Thinking. Blink. Blink. So I read another book by Malcolm Gladwell, The Outlooker. I don't remember the title, but I love that book, and I thought that I will love this one too, but it was just boring for me, too academic. So I was just bored, and yeah, I don't need it anymore. 2 books left. So we have Lady of Conquest by Teresa Medeiros. Same situation as with another historical romance. The guy in the book is just awful. He is just too toxic. He's a huge walking red flag, and I just didn't like the chemistry between those 2 characters. Actually, there weren't any chemistry almost. So yeah, didn't like it. It will be going. And the last one is a self-help book, Live with the Intention, Rediscovering What We Deeply Know by Mary Ann Macker. I read this book. It was very easy to read. It's colorful and yeah, short, but like with most of the self-help books, it was just okay. I think I gave it 2 stars or 3 stars, but I don't think that I will be rereading this book, and I don't need it in my house anymore. So these are the books that I want to get rid of. Hopefully you liked this video, hopefully you like this background and consider subscribing, giving this video a thumbs up, and yeah, we will see each other I think soon. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.